Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amanda Ramirez-O'Grady, Program Specialist with Butte County SELPA. Thank you for taking the time to join today's training. Today, we're going to explore what effective co-teaching looks like and why it is one of the most impactful practices for creating inclusive classrooms. Co-teaching is much more than placing two adults in one classroom. When implemented intentionally, it creates greater access to grade level instruction, increases student engagement, strengthens teachers' collaboration, and improves outcome for all students, not just those receiving special education services. Throughout today's session, we'll discuss the legal foundations, research supporting inclusive practices, the different co-teaching models, and practical strategies you can begin implementing immediately. By the end of today's training, you will be able to explain the legal foundations of inclusive education, understand why schools are moving toward co-teaching, identify the 6 co-teaching models, describe the roles of general and special education teachers, begin planning for successful collaborative instruction. Our goal isn't simply to learn new information. Our goal is to begin shifting how we think about shared responsibility for all learners. Many people ask, why is there such an emphasis on inclusion in co-teaching now? The answer is simple. Research over the last several decades consistently shows that students with disabilities make stronger academic and social gains when they have meaningful access to high-quality core instruction alongside their peers. When co-teaching is implemented with fidelity, schools see improvement in student achievement, engagement, teacher collaboration, and overall school culture. This isn't just an educational trend. It's an evidence-based instructional practice supported by both research and law. When we talk about inclusion, we're talking about much more than physical placement. Inclusion means student experience, belonging, access, participation, and meaningful achievement. Students should have opportunities to participate in the same learning experiences as their peers while receiving the support they need to succeed. The important takeaway here is inclusion is not a place, it is a commitment. This is driven by research. The research base for co-teaching has grown considerably over the past 2 decades. While the evidence does not show that simply placing 2 teachers in a classroom automatically improves achievement, studies consistently demonstrate that well-implemented co-teaching with shared planning, clearly defined roles, and evidence-based instructional practices can improve academic outcomes, access to grade level curriculum, student engagement, and teacher efficacy. Our work is grounded in IDEA. IDEA requires schools to educate students in the least restrictive environment, or LRE. This means students with disabilities should be educated with non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate. Removal from the general education classroom should only occur when education cannot be satisfactorily achieved there, even with appropriate supports and services. Co-teaching is one way schools can provide those supports while maintaining access to grade level instruction. We need to remember that this is individualized for each student. California reinforces these federal requirements through state education code. Special education is a service, not a place. Our responsibility is not to determine where students belong. Our responsibility is determining what supports students need to be successful. The mindset shifts our focus from placement decisions to instructional design. Specially designed instruction is embedded within the grade level instruction. It is helpful to distinguish between equity and equality. Equality means everyone receives the same thing. Equity means everyone receives what they need to be successful. Both are essential. Without equality, it is difficult to achieve equity. A baseline of equal opportunity and foundational resources must exist for all students to prevent systematic neglect. However, applying a strict one-size-fits-all equality model often leaves marginalized or disadvantaged learners behind, as sameness does not address individual hardships. Students deserve access to grade level standards, high quality instruction, meaningful participation, and opportunities to demonstrate learning in multiple ways. Co-teaching helps make equity possible because both educators bring unique expertise to instruction. Research consistently tells us that students thrive when they feel they belong. Inclusive classrooms help students build friendships, participate in school communities, develop positive identities, and experience greater engagement. Belonging is not simply a social outcome, it is directly connected to academic success. Inclusive classrooms mirror the real world. Adults work with people from different backgrounds, strengths, and abilities every day. Students develop communication, collaboration, problem solving, and teamwork skills. These are lifelong skills that benefit every learner. Students with disabilities benefit academically, socially, and beyond graduation. Research shows improvement in achievement, access to grade level curriculum, friendships, confidence, graduation rates, employment, and independence. Inclusive education opens doors that extend far beyond school. Inclusion benefits everyone. Students without disabilities develop empathy, communication, collaboration, leadership, acceptance, and problem-solving skills. Inclusive classrooms build stronger school communities where diversity is viewed as a strength. Take a few minutes to consider, what benefits have you observed when students with diverse learning needs learn together? Successful co-teaching depends on understanding each educator's expertise. General education teachers bring curriculum expertise, pacing, standards, classroom instruction. Special education teachers contribute expertise in specially designed instruction, accommodations, behavior supports, differentiation, progress monitoring. Neither role is more important. Together they create stronger instruction. Co-teaching occurs when a general education teacher and a special education teacher share instructional responsibility for the same group of students. Notice the emphasis on shared instruction leadership. Both educators plan together, teach together, assess together, and support all students. Students should view both adults as their teachers. Let's clear up several misconceptions. Co-teaching is not one teacher teaching while another grades papers, one teacher acting along as an aide, or one teacher working exclusively with students who have IEPs. Both teachers are responsible for every student in the classroom. That shared ownership is what makes co-teaching effective. Effective co-teaching supports inclusion, improves access, increases differentiation, reduces isolation, meets diverse learners' needs, and keeps instruction centered on students. At the center of every decision should be one question: how does this improve learning for students? There are 6 commonly recognized co-teaching models. Each serves a different instructional purpose. Today, we'll briefly introduce one teach, one observe, one teach, one assist, station teaching, parallel teaching, alternative teaching, and team teaching. No single model is best. Effective teams choose the model that best fits the lesson objective. One teach, one observe allows one teacher to collect meaningful instructional data. Observation should always have a purpose. One teach, one assist allows one teacher to provide immediate support while instruction continues. This model can be useful, but should not become the default. If used too frequently, students may begin viewing one teacher as the real teacher and the other teacher as an assistant. Station teaching divides instruction into smaller learning stations. Students rotate while teachers provide targeted instruction. Parallel teaching splits the class into 2 smaller groups. Both teachers deliver the same lesson simultaneously. These models increase participation and allow for greater differentiation. Alternative teaching provides targeted instruction for a small group while the larger group continues learning. This group should change frequently based on instructional need. Team teaching is the most collaborative model. Both teachers share instruction equally throughout the lesson. When done well, students often cannot distinguish who is the general educator and who is the special educator. Successful co-teaching depends on balance. Teachers share responsibility for planning, instruction, assessment, classroom management, communication, and student success. Students benefit most when they truly have two teachers, not one teacher and one helper. Co-teaching begins long before students enter the classroom. Effective planning includes discussing what are students expected to learn? How will we know they've learned it? What barriers might exist? What supports will students need? Which co-teaching model best fits this lesson? Planning is where successful co-teaching begins. Research consistently shows that co-teaching is most successful when teachers have scheduled co-planning time. Roles are clearly defined. Both teachers share instructional responsibility. Specially designed instruction is intentionally embedded. And administration support collaboration through scheduling and professional learning. Co-teaching is not simply adding another adult to the classroom. It is a partnership built on trust, shared expertise, and commitment to student success. Thank you for your participation. As you leave today, I encourage you to reflect on one question. What is one change you can make that will strengthen collaboration and increase access for all learners? Small changes implemented consistently can have a tremendous impact on student outcomes. Thank you for your dedication to students and for your commitment to building inclusive classrooms where every learner belongs, participates, and succeeds. I'm always happy to answer any questions. Please reach out if you need.